Hey guys, Billy here. I'm a multi-gladiator hunter, and this video is the second half of the video which I uploaded yesterday, which is 9.1 gameplay where I pushed 2100 CR in the first week with BM Hunter Hpala. I'll be creating the guides versus each class over the next couple of weeks as there was a lot of interest in it, so stay tuned for that. And if you like, you can subscribe to ensure that you won't miss out on any of the hunter content. You can also catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Billybobbs and you can join my Discord. I'll put the links to both of these in the description and I hope you enjoyed the video. This game we're facing Rogue Mage, so I start off in stealth as we're searching for the Rogue or the Mage. We get the Mage out and we go with a Hodge and then we start damaging the Mage. The Mage then steals my Paladin's freedom and disorientates me with Dragon's Breath and then combusts. I sack my healer and I also pop Bestial Wrath so that my pet would come out of the stun. They missed the meteor on me and then full kidney shotted me. The healer bopped me so I was completely fine, but then they spell stole the bop because I didn't cancel it. At this point, I'm hitting both of them, and we manage to get the Rogue's evasion, and the Rogue then runs away, so we're just doing some more damage to the Mage. I have a mark on the Rogue, so that means he cannot get a re-stealth without using Cloak of Shadows. We then also get the bop from the Mage, and I try and flare to get the Rogue out. However, he used Cloak, so that now my mark is no longer on him. We then Hodge the Mage, and I get a full trap onto the Rogue after he stuns me. The Mage is now running away and I put another mark onto the Rogue to keep him in combat. The Mage's BM trinket is falling in 10 seconds, so we know we can kill then. We also know the Rogue has no cooldowns left, apart from Vanish, which he just used. But because he has no cloak, he cannot get a very good re, as I can still see him. The Mage is now very low, so I go to try and kill him, however I get stunned, and then he gets his shields back, and then he also steals the bop. Now, because I didn't purge it, I'm attacking the Rogue and we get his BM trinket as well. We also got Bomb here. I'm completely fine as the ring is DR'd and we get a Hodge onto the Mage, allowing us to get his Cauterize and then kill him. However, I didn't notice the Seed hit, so I started killing the Rogue instead. I should have killed the Seed, however, I didn't realise it was there until now. And then at this point it was too late to kill the Seed, so I committed to the Rogue and we managed to kill him, and then shortly after the Mage surrendered. This game we're facing Ret Disc. I'm trolling a little bit because I'm using an undead pet, which means when the Ret uses Wake of Ashes, it's going to stun my pets. So I'm needing to be careful to try and make sure they don't get stunned. We get a blind onto the priest and I follow up with a trap. And then we start doing damage to the Paladin. He popped his wings and so I sack my healer and just doing normal damage to him. I kick the priest and then I try and run away a bit and I also stun the Ret just to try and avoid some damage. I feign death so that he cannot kill me. And he's very low here, and his priest is in CC, and he doesn't bubble, so therefore he dies. Here we're facing Disc Feral, so I throw a flare down to try and get the Feral out, however it doesn't get him out. The priest is opening on me, and so I'm doing damage to the priest whilst trying to line him so that he cannot use too much CC on me. I kick his Door of Shadows, and we get a full Hodge onto the Feral, and the healer then dispels it. Still doing damage to the Feral here, we get PI, and the Feral is now running away because I pop my cooldowns. Olliek manages to line the mind games and lines it again, and then I stun this one into a full trap, and we get pain suppression on the druid, and he's just sitting in bear form at this point. So I'm not doing too much damage to him at the moment because he's used bear form and pain sup. We now get a double blind onto both of them, and we break the feral so that we can keep doing damage to him. We also have his bark skin now. Now he doesn't have that many cooldowns left, so I outrange the clone and I kick his regrowth heal. I'm now still doing damage to him whilst trying to keep up my stacks. I pop cooldowns again, and the priest fears me, and the druid mains my healer. I trinket the fear so that I can kick the mind games into a full trap on the priest. This means that my paladin is completely fine. The feral is now lining me and is sitting in bear form again. Still doing damage to him, and we also get his frenzied regen. Still doing damage to the feral, and my paladin is going over to the priest to try and land some CC. We get a full Hodge onto the priest. I get war stomped into a clone. Nothing I could do about that though. I then sacked my Hpala, so he's going to be completely fine here. And the feral is now playing defensive, trying to heal himself. I pop Bestial Wrath and keep doing damage to the feral, and I get feared DR. They managed to line up mind games here, as I couldn't trinket this to stop. We have stun trap soon, so I bait his death, and then I throw the trap and get a full trap onto him. The feral is lining me pretty well here, so that I cannot land a kill just yet. He's now going back to my healer to try and force some more cooldowns. He's still fairly low though, about 50%. I'm just trying to get into the line of the feral here. My healer is bot, so the feral can't really do much damage at the moment. I get incapped Roared, but he doesn't follow up with the clone, or he tries to, but he's too late. We then get a double blind onto both of them. I then manage to trap off and get a full trap. I then kick the fleshcraft from the feral druid. The feral is now very low here and he charges to my healer. This meant that he's far away from his healer so we can stun behind the pillar. The healer doors in to get closer to the feral, however I stun the healer, we get his trinket and the feral's wall, but he's so low we can just kill through. So here we're facing Holy Priest Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter rushes in to try and stun and do damage to my Paladin. I get mind controlled and I didn't kick it. We get a Hodge onto the Priest to stop the MC. They also use the Hunt here. I managed to kick mind games and I get stunned, but he doesn't fear off for some reason. I then manage to get a full trap onto the healer, and I send the DH to help my Pala to release some pressure. Doing damage to the DH now, and we manage to get his Blur and Guardian Spirit from the Holy. The PI on the Priest has also run out now. They're trying to MC me again, but I line it down the ramp. Still doing damage to the DH, and the Guardian has ended now. My Pala is very low, but he bubbles, and then the Priest Master spells it. My Pala is now kiting away, and the Demon Hunter is dashing after him. However, my Pala manages to top himself, and the big meta from the DH is ending soon. We get a Hodge onto the Priest, and I can follow that up with a trap. The DH here is low, and he reverses my trap. His big meta has ended now, so now it's a lot safer for us, as they'll be doing a lot less consistent damage. I kick the healer, and we get the DH's Darkness, however we manage to kill through. Here we're facing this Priest Assa Rogue. I am in stealth, so I flare to try and get the Rogue out, however I don't get him out. So I'm walking over to the Priest, however the Priest then goes to my Pala, so I stay in the middle so that I'm in line of sight of my Paladin, so that if he gets stunned I can then sack him. The Rogue then decides to open on my Paladin. I open on the Rogue and start doing damage to him. I get blinded, and then I get bopped. However, it was too late for me to kick the mind games, but I did sack the Pala. I then get feared DR, and the Priest doors, but I stun it so that he's far away from his Rogue. We then get a Hodge onto the Rogue. I pop cooldowns, and we get the Rogue's evasion and his trinket. Here we're just doing damage to the Rogue, even though it's evasion, so we can't do that much damage as it keeps dodging. The Priest Door of Shadows in, and we get a blind onto the Rogue, but we miss the blind on the Priest, and the Rogue then Shadow Steps my Paladin. I now use my speed increase from Cheetah and catch up to the Rogue to keep doing damage. And then kick the Master Spell from the Priest so that my Pala's bubble is still fine. He then does get the Master Spell now, though, as I had no kick or stop. At this point, they're just running around the pillar, and I'm in a full fear. And they get a Mind Games off and into a bomb. The Rogue also uses his Maledict Trinket, but I then trap the Priest, and we get the Rogue Sprint and the Priest Trinket. So now neither of them have trinkets, and the Rogue just used Cloak of Shadows, and the Priest has used Dark Archangel, so they're doing a go here. We also get the Dome and the Fleshcraft from the Rogue. I kick the Priest, but I allow the Rogue's Fleshcraft to go through. Now I'm just doing damage to the Rogue while my Pal is completely fine lining. We then get a full Hodge onto the Priest, and I int him the Rogue and get the trap onto the Priest. At this point I'm far away from the Rogue so that he cannot stun me without using a step. He then steps my Paladin into a kidney, but I land a kill shot onto the Rogue, and despite the Priest healing him, we're able to kill through. Here we're facing Holy Priest Assa Rogue. So I've put a flare down, and then I go in and I start to look for the Rogue. However, I can't find him, so I decide to open up on the Priest so that we can get combat, so that my Pala won't get sapped and that I won't get sapped. I then get cheap shotted, and the Rogue steps to my healer and starts doing damage to him. He then gets a full kidney, and I get feared into mind control. I'm sending my pets over to try and hit the Rogue. He then hodged the Rogue so that he was completely fine, and he bopped himself. At this point we're completely fine, and the Rogue's also fainted. I'm slowing the Priest so that we can go in to maybe get a blind. So now we get a full blind onto the Priest, and I get a freedom on myself. I'm then going to trap, but I get blinded, so I get bopped out of the blind and then manage to trap after that, and then we get the Rogue's evasion. At this point we're fairly fine, as my Palace still has bubble, and we're just dealing damage to the Rogue. He's facing his back to me, so I'm still able to do some damage whilst he's using evasion. His evasion now ends, so I use Chimeral Sting to slow him, so that my Paladin can get away. We also then get Guardian Spirit from the Priest. The Priest now wants to fear me, so he's coming over to me, so I walk away. The Guardian Spirit is now ended, and the Rogue is going around the pillar with my Paladin. The Priest comes in, and then decides to fear me. At this point my Paladin can't get me because he's out of line of sight, and they also waste their Shackle Trinket. as the Paladin lined it. The Rogue is very low at this point, and I have a stun trap ready, so I stun the Priest, and we also overlap with the Hodge. The Rogue then vanishes and cloaks so that my mark goes off of him, but his stealth breaks due to a dot on him. He's now still very low. I get chastised, and the Priest starts to heal him, and then he bombs defensively. I kick the Priest, I run in to try and kill shot, however the Priest heals him slightly too much so that I cannot kill shot. I run over to the Priest to try and bait his death or fade. I then get full feared. I then manage to bait his death, but he melds the trap. I then flare him so that he's out of the shadow meld. The Rogue's now lining me and the healer, and he's running around the pillar. I put a mark on him so that he cannot re-stealth. There's Fleshcraft here, but I decide not to kick it. Still doing damage to the Rogue. I have my cooldowns back up shortly, so I pop Bestial Wrath, and the Power Infusion is on the Rogue. The Rogue then lines around the pillar away from his healer, and this means that my pets can still do damage to him. I get full feared, and because he's out of line of his healer now, my pets are still able to do quite a lot of damage to him. He then gets gripped by his healer, and they get Guardian Spirit. He then tries to stealth, but I have a mark on him, so I can get him out quite quickly. We then get a stun onto the Rogue, however he trinkets. I then stun the Priest, he also trinkets. So I know now if I can land the trap, then it's likely we're going to be able to force something or win here. My Paladin has bubbled at this point, and the Priest master spells. He goes in to try and get a Blinding Light, however the Priest then greater fade so that we cannot do it. I get full feared, the Paladin dispels my fear, I then manage to land a trap onto the Priest. It breaks due to the Paladin Glimmer. The Rogue is very low here and his evasion has just ended. This means we're able to do full damage to him and we're able to land a kill here, as they had no CDs left. Here we're facing a Holy Priest Feral Druid. So I flared to try and get the Feral out. I'm in stealth, and then we go and get a Hodge onto the Priest to proc his Adapt Trinket. We then get a double blind, and that also interrupts the Shackles Trinket. I then full trap the Priest to stop the mind games, but I get feared, and my healer's lining so he cannot dispel me. I'm trying to slow the Feral, so that he has to go out of cat form to dispel the slow. He then in-cat roars me, and the Priest comes in to now try and do damage. I kick the mind games, and I sack my healer here. At this point my healer is quite low, so we have to bubble, and I cannot kick the Master Spell. He manages to outrange the Master Spell though, so he's fine here. We also get the Guardian Spirit from the Priest, and the Barkskin from the Feral. I then stun the Priest into a full trap. And now just doing damage to the Feral. Barkskin's got 3 seconds left, and now he pops Survival Instincts as well, and then he maims my healer. He then uses his Shackle Trinket, and I can't stop it, so my healer had to bop himself and then heal, and now he's completely fine. I then get chastised into a stun. The Holy Priest is also playing wards, so before I have to trap, I have to try and purge it off, or we have to use something to get it off. Now we're just doing damage to the Feral. He's fairly healthy at the moment, so he's sitting cat form. I slow him. I then get chastised again, but I managed to kick the mind games into a full trap on the Priest. This, though, makes his Adapt Trinket proc, and then he gets out of it instantly. So now doing damage to the Feral. They've got fear in 3 seconds, so we need to be careful for this. He then mind games my healer, but it was a bit of a waste of mind games because they didn't really have a stun or any follow-up CC. I'm going to get feared here. We then get the Feral's auto regen proc, and I kick the healer on his heal. Now doing damage to the Feral, and we get a double blind on the healer and the Feral. The Feral then trinkets this. I stun the Priest into a full trap. His Guardian and Fleshcraft at the moment, and we don't have kick to kick the Fleshcraft. I then get in-cap draw, and he's going to then regrowth heal, and then go back into bear form. At this point, we're quite far ahead, as we still have quite a few cooldowns and they don't have much left at the moment. At this point, my Pala's gone round line of sight to line the Priest. He then peeks and dispels me. They've used PI on the Feral here, so this is their big go. My Paladin bots himself so that he's completely fine. I then put a tar trap down just to slow them, and then I run in, I get bashed, I trinket that, and then kick the clone. Still doing damage to the Feral here. The Priest greater fades, and the Feral is very, very low here. I tried to throw a trap onto the Priest, however it's just after his death, so that meant that the trap broke. Still doing damage to the Feral. The Priest is fairly at the moment, so this is good for us. He uses ward and then tries to mind games my healer after fearing me, however the Feral's so low he just dies.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. Rogue Assa thingy.
I
okay.
need trying to blind this off.
Yeah, I hate ward.
Maybe you can purge it actually.
I'm trying. I didn't get it.
I'm gonna wait. Yeah. Just need to try and purge
I think
it
Rogue
off.
opens you.
He will. I need to line the Priest. Okay, you need to go for CC like straight away. Okay. Yeah, I see. I pre your.
This might be trouble.
It's fine.
I can't thingy.
No, I'm not gonna be trouble.
Okay, he's used all his CC on me actually. This is fine. After Fate, stun him now. Between. Okay.
I have blind off.
Yeah, perfect.
If I can reach.
Free to me.
I think we can maybe kill him in a bit. I'll hodge out. DR, it's worth. It's worth.
Yeah.
If I kill him. Okay, we got advantage there as well.
I got him out.
Yeah.
Align the priest, we can't fit me. Chapter. Trinket. Blind as well.
Use it, use it. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna pop, okay?
Sure. I couldn't keep him though.
It's fine. I mean, it's still two bops and bubbles, so...
Rogue's here. Why am I in combat?
Drink's not gonna do much.
Yeah, I'm not even stopping it. Here we're just waiting for the rogue to come out, so I managed to get a restuff as well because we're not in combat. And we're just searching for the rogue now. Ollie mounts up to go and attack the priest and get into combat so that he cannot be sapped. I'm not gonna come out yet. Actually, I am. I'm gonna try and purge it. I purged it.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Okay, he will. Nice.
Feared. I can get you in a sec. I cannot stop. I'm gonna sack you. I'm gonna sack you. I feel like I didn't need to do that, but. Root him here. Sun trap as well. We can win here. Or we get trinket at least. Here after the rogue trinkets, he's just running around the pillar lining me. This makes it hard for me to connect, however my pets are still doing a little bit of damage to him, which means that he stays on low health.
Let's ward again.
He's warding himself again, this is good. I've made you play it, I purged it.
Nice, I blind.
He's gonna try and
before the fear.
Perfect.
Okay.
Win here. Nice. Thanks all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. This was the first time I've done something like this, so let me know if you liked it. Also stay tuned as I'll be making short guides on how to beat each class in arenas. Have a great day, peace out.